Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to 91.7 KRTU. This is the live and local show. We are united by Texas music here on the live and local show every Thursday from 10 to 11 p.m. And we got a real treat for you guys today. We are joined by Michael Vasquez of the group SYRUS. Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
You're very welcome, Albert. It's nice. I'm Travis. It's nice to meet you. I'm sorry I keep saying the name. So
Albert and Travis were both here, your humble hosts, but we're here to talk about SYRUS.
right on.
So, Michael, if you could take us back to 1983, or maybe before that, when you
83.
guys all first started jamming, how did you meet and what was it like at that time, just kind of all getting together?
The drummer is who I met first, and he was in a band with the guitar player Johnny Castilleja, and they would practice at Kenny's transmission shop, where you'd get a lot of transmission fluid all over your clothes and tennis shoes. And that was in high school. I would go see local bands play in backyards. I also worked at the Hemisphere Arena selling sodas from my sophomore year till a year after I graduated. So every concert that came through, I was there selling sodas. Every Spurs game for 4 years. So it was just, I loved music. And summer graduation 1983, I was hanging out with Kenny, the drummer. They were trying out vocalists. I would go watch. It was not Cyrus yet, but it was the four original members: Julio Paz on bass, Albert on guitar, Johnny on rhythm, Kenny on bass. On drums. And they were trying out vocalists. And this one guy came and he did great. And they were like, "You're in the band," and I was like, "I'm gonna be a roadie." I just wanted to be involved in somehow with. I just always loved music, and the guy comes back the next day. "Hey, I can't do it. My parents say it's the devil's music," and we were like, "Oh man, our dreams were crushed." And Albert, the guitar player, he looks at me and he says, "Why don't you do it? You're always here. I see you mouthing the words. Why don't you try out?" And in my head, I just went like, he's right. I either try out or I spend the rest of my life going, what if? And it was August 83. I can remember vividly. And you start off as a cover band and you're doing songs by Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Motley Crue, Saxon, and our favorite Iron Maiden.
That's awesome.
So that's where it began. That's where it all started.
I love a good San Antonio music story like that, from slinging sodas at Hemisphere to just being stoked to be around your friends and everything like that. That's really, really cool. And then you guys put out music for about 4 years back in the early to mid 80s. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it was we religiously practiced without fail every other day from 1983 to 87. If it fell on
Wow.
Christmas Day, we were there. If it fell on New Year, we were like, it was so weird how we had this it was you're 18, you're 19, 20, you have this drive, this passion, and the shows, there was a really great there was a local metal scene. Omni Productions was around, and the Via Fontana was a place to play. The Cameo Theater. So to get gigs there, and the bands that were like really my heroes were SA Slayer. I hate calling them that, but we had a Slayer, and I love. I mean, to me, they're Slayer. Wizard and Watchtower from Austin, Militia from Austin, and then Wizard, and they were just great bands. And I just wanted to do what they were our local Judas Priest, our local Iron Maiden, and to get on a bill with those bands was just, that's what we were striving for. And of course, we started off doing originals. I mean covers, and then we started writing. Albert started writing originals, and we were on the infamous. I don't know if you're familiar with Slayer, the Slayer.
Of course.
There's a Slayer, but there was a San Antonio Slayer. So there was a Slayer versus Slayer show that came to San Antonio in
Oh, we're on that?
1984. So we were the opening band: Cyrus,
Wow.
Militia, Slayer, San Antonio Slayer, and then yeah, it was 1984, and I'm just like, who would have known? Like years later, you would see Tom Araya wearing that shirt at one of their farewell shows,
Right.
and it's, I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it because I got to see my hometown hero Slayer perform their last show as a band, and I met some lifelong friends in band Militia from Austin. So.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we know that Cyrus has a lot of exciting stuff going on coming up too, including a really big show in San Marcos that I want to talk about. But if I could just for a moment stay here on that kind of mid 80s scene, that to a lot of people that I talk to is in a lot of people's minds the kind of the peak of San Antonio local music, that 80s metal scene. What was it like being in a band and being around that environment at that time?
It was incredible, man. It was exciting. I worked in 1985. I got a job at Sound Warehouse at a record store, right? And that was on Military Drive. And Military Drive, people used to cruise up and down Military Drive. I mean, like Friday and Saturday night was just alive on Military Drive. As soon as I'd get off of work at 12 midnight, everybody was in the parking lot at Sound Warehouse, all these metalheads, all these fans of the band. And when we needed to pass out flyers, you could just go down the median and hand out flyers because it was cars bumper to bumper.
Wow.
And then the Via Fontana, that was the first time I saw Slayer, Wizard, and Watchtower. That was my baptism to the local metal scene. And it was incredible because you had all these people. It was packed house. It was DIY, do it yourself. They had great sound guys. Big E used to run sound at the Cameo. Rolling Gloria did the lights, and these were like, I mean, it was amazing. A Friday, Saturday night at the Cameo Theater, local bands. I mean, friends. It was great, man. I mean, and then you to make a demo, and then your thing was to take it to Ruben Luna from Hog Wild Records, and if he gave you your blessing, his blessing, or wrote a review on it, you were like, yeah, we made it. We made it to San Antonio, top of the bill. But and Ruben, and it was straight, man. I mean, there was local magazines that did reviews on the shows, and it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, it was a blast, brother. I mean, I look back with a lot of joy, and that is why I am doing this show at Ragnar in the Compound, because to this day, a lot of the people that I see from that era will see me, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is just like, friggin' Mike. And it's this big old smile comes across their face. And they've always shown me so much love because of that thing that we did back in the 80s. And it's amazing. So this is my way of just, hey man, I can't wait. And to share the bill with Jason and Mike Solis, two good friends of mine from back then, and Bifus is also on the bill. So I'm looking forward. I'm excited, and I honestly hope that this is a reunion of that Via Fontana Cameo. A lot of people show up. That's what I'm really hoping for. That it's just a big reunion, and everybody's just like, dude, what's going on? So I'm
Awesome.
excited. Yeah.
Always a good time. And that's, I can really relate to that. That's part of the fun of music, is all those great relationships and, kind of the infrastructure that was built in. Like then you're talking about going through Hog Wild. That is what we try to do, at least here on the Live and Local show on KRTU. Get into the local scene, help bring new stuff that maybe you haven't heard before. So tell us a little bit about the show coming up, Iron Fist Fest 5 in San Marcos. Tell us who's on the bill, what can people expect, when's it going down?
It is. There's 8 bands on the bill. There's an indoor stage that has extreme metal bands. I don't know the names of the bands because the way they write them, it's kind of hard to read it. I don't know if I sent you the flyer. I'll send you a flyer, and I'll also send a link that people can purchase tickets. And
Awesome.
then there's a classic metal stage, which is what will be on outdoor. So we're going to be opening the show. We're Cyrus, and then it's going to be a band from back in the day called Bifus. Great singer, great band, followed by Igniter, who features the legendary Jason McMaster. And then I believe Militia will be closing out the show. They are from Austin. They have been around also, but they have 2 legendary members from other bands from back in the 80s. Scott Womack on bass, who was in Juggernaut, and Art Virial, who was in our Slayer and also in Carrion. So you got a lot of just, it's going to be a great night of people, dare I say the word legendary musicians. I look at them as legendary. I become a fanboy when I'm around them, because I mean, like I said, they were our Judas Priest, they were our Iron Maiden, they were our Scorpions, our UFOs. So whenever I see them, I'm still kind of like, dude. So, but that's why, to share the stage with them, 30 years later, this is kind of like a Christmas gift to myself. Like, dude, it's gonna be a blast. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's gonna be fun. I know doors open at 7. I don't have all the information yet of what time slot the bands are going on at, but December 18th, Ragnar in the Compound in San Marcos, Texas. I drove by the venue last Saturday to find it. It's out on I believe it's called Ranch Road 12. This outdoor stage looks incredible, man. So the indoor and even the indoor, I mean, it's a cool place. So
Awesome. Definitely a heavy hitting lineup there. Again, Iron Fist Fest 5, Ragnar's on the Compound, San Marcos, Texas, December 18th, doors at 7. You're going to want to get there at doors based on this lineup that I'm seeing right here. We're joined by Michael Vasquez of SYRUS. We're going to get into some music and we'll be right back. This is Tales of War by SYRUS.
Thank you.
You are listening to 91.7 KRTU. This is the live and local show. We are joined by Michael of SYRUS. The song that you just heard was Tales of War. And Michael, I understand that is a re-recording of some of the original stuff. Is that right?
Yes, yes, it was. I was talking to Albert the other day, asking him, so Albert was our main songwriter. He was Albert Berlanga, the lead guitar player. And so back in I think this song was probably written in 1984. And when we got back together in 2014, was the idea was to re-record all the old songs with the modern technology and just give them a little bit of that, I mean, because now, man, you can go into a studio and it'll sound great, and back then, to pay, we're talking 1984, 85, I think it was like $40 an hour back then. And that was a lot of money back in 1984,
Absolutely.
and so a lot of times all the stuff was devoted to the drums, guitar, and okay, singer, you got 20 minutes to record your parts. What do you mean I got 20 minutes? And so now we found this place, and the guy charged $150 per song, not per hour, per song. So and we went in and we tried to do the best we could, but they were never really truly finished. But I'm somewhat, I mean, I like when I hear it. It's okay, I would have loved to do a little bit more, but I'm very pleased and with what came out, and so.
Very good. And definitely the recording costs and technology have come such a long way. So it's great that, it's accessible. More people can make music. Love hearing all of that. If you make music, or if somebody that makes music in the state of Texas, shoot it over to us at liveandlocalkrtu@gmail.com. We would love to hear it. But so what was that like for you getting back in the studio? You said the song was written in 1984, and then all of a sudden, whirlwind of life and everything happens, and now you're back with your guys cutting these tracks again. Was that kind of a trip, or were you just totally present in the moment?
Oh no, man. It was like, and I'm glad you say that, because I'm not 18-year-old Michael anymore. I was 53-year-old Michael, or what was this? It was back in 2015. I was 51, I believe. And so I'm trying to, get back into the, you got the aggression and metal, and, I still love metal, but I don't, I don't have that rage or that feeling that I had back then. So what was cool was I was like, okay, let's feel it. And what I loved about it now, back then I used to try to do everything in one take or all the way through, right? And now it's just like, no, let's take it line by line and really feel the part, and try to, like it's like a kind of like a mini movie, but in a song. You're trying to, feel the part, get across what, you're feeling, or what, that one's called Tales of War. So Albert, of course, wrote it about soldiers and what they're going, that what the hell of war is and stuff like that. So that's what I was trying to, get across. And even now, as we're rehearsing for the show, I record. I always record all the practices in the bands that I've been in, so I can go back and listen and say, that was good, that was bad. Okay, you need to work on this note. You need to, And the first couple of practices, I'm like, what's missing? And again, I went back to, dude, you gotta feel the song. And I talked to Mike from Militia, and he told me, hey, he goes, my thing is, metal has always been poor man's opera. You got to sell the, you really got to get out there and, and stuff. And so it was, and that's kind of helped me. And so I'm nervous and excited about the show, but I think I'm just more excited. And I keep, I'm going to Cyndi Lauper it, because I want to have fun. I just want to have fun. You know what I mean?
I
Boys just
love
want to
that.
have fun. And that's the way I'm looking at it, So.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, that's what music's about, right?
Yeah.
It's about a
Yeah.
lot of things. It's about, creativity and art and expressing yourself, but it's definitely about having fun.
Right.
I would be remiss if I did not at least take a little bit of time. I'm always fascinated by the places where the Texas music scene kind of breaks out of bounds, like the huge hip hop surge from Houston that we had in the early 2000s.
Yes.
And I understand your little group has an interesting story about that as well, in terms of like the Texas and San Antonio metal scenes overseas. What can you share with us about that?
Oh man, that's funny. I'm glad you said that because or asked that. Um, so 1985, we hadn't played in a while, and we were still practicing religiously every other day, and months had gone by. Maybe I don't know, 6, 7 months we hadn't had a gig. We get a call early Saturday morning. It's called the Metal Blowout. It's happening at Kelly Drive-In on south side of town. It's an old abandoned drive-in theater. They put a big stage in front of the movie screen. A lot of the local bands or the big bands are playing. We're not on it. Kind of like our Woodstock, right? We get the call early Saturday morning. Hey man, one of the bands dropped out. Do you want to play? Sure. I call the other guys. We go on. We go over like gangbusters. Jason McMaster from Watchtower in Austin comes running up to us afterwards. Dude, y'all were great. I'm from Austin. I'm the singer for Watchtower. I want to get you guys up in Austin. True to his word, 3 months later, we're playing in Austin. It goes over great. Then we play with Militia. 1986 comes around. Our practice room had a side bedroom that had a couch, a bed, TV, a restroom, shower. We all had access to that room. All of a sudden, a guy from Germany, Wolfram Cooper, is in that room staying. I'm like, Johnny says, hey, Mike, there's a guy from Germany here at my house. He's going to stay here. Wolfram Cooper, he writes for, I believe it was Rock Hard magazine in Germany. He's here to do an interview with Watchtower in Austin. Can you drive us to Austin? Watchtower's playing. Can you drive us in your Camaro to go interview Jason? Yeah, sure. So it's Johnny, myself, Kenny, and Wolfram, and a friend of ours, Christina. We take off in my red Camaro, and I hope you don't mind if I tell you the story, but
No, I
we
love
stop
it.
we stop at a back then there were stop and goes, right? And this guy's from Germany. He's got a heavy accent, speaks English, but we stop at the stop and go, and we get off. The guys want to get beer. I didn't drink back then. So they get, I think, Budweiser or whatever. You get a 6-pack, right? And Kenny, the drummer, asked Wolfram, hey, Wolfram, will you get a buzz off of this beer? And he goes, the buzz, I do not understand what the buzz means. And he says, will you get drunk? And he looks at Kenneth and he goes, on this beer, on the American beer, your American beer is crap. I mean, like he got really insulted. Like, and we were like, dude, bro, it was awesome, but it was great. So we learned not to offer Wolfram American beer. And we drive to Austin, the Ritz Theater, man, what a great place. Watchtower goes over as they always did, just great. Wolfram does the interview. We drive back to San Antonio. He leaves and takes one cassette tape, one Cyrus demo cassette tape with him back to Germany.
And
Couple of months later, bro, fan mail from all over Europe. That one cassette was dubbed. Bam, bam, bam. Dude, this is tape. That was the tape trading thing back then, right? We got letters as far from Russia. I mean, it was incredible. So then Germany, some distribution company out of Germany sends Johnny a letter. Hey, we want Cyrus cassettes. We'll send you. You send us bulk cassettes. Tell us how much you charge us. Next thing you know, we're on that reel to reel. I mean, a dubber cassette, making 20 tapes, 30 tapes, putting them in a box, sending them to Germany. They're sending us money. We're sending them cassettes.
wow.
And that's how. I mean, that was. And next thing you know, we're getting fanzines in French, in Greek. I mean, I have like articles where there's a picture of me singing, and I can't even make out what it says because it's in a foreign language. And that was the metal scene. They loved the Texas metal scene, dude. And I sometimes still freak out that here I am. I'm 56. Something I did when I was 19, 20, 21, and I'm gonna be singing it. And I don't know if Monica told you, but we just got played on Greek radio last Tuesday.
Yes, she brought it
And
up.
and I'm just, I mean, and the guy's talking in Greek, Mike Vasquez, Cyrus, and I'm just like, wow, and it got me really excited, and I'm just like, like I said, I can't get over the fact, but I'm excited, I'm happy. But that was the cool thing of it was pen paling, tape trading, you know, and Jason gave us that seal of approval because in San Antonio we played a show with Juggernaut and somebody else, and once Jason got on stage with us, that was like, oh, if Jason likes Cyrus, Cyrus must be pretty cool. So that got us over. And then that guy Wolfram, I mean, you know, I'm hoping that I get to see him, or I don't know. I some people may fly in, I don't know, but it would be great to see him because we became, you know, pretty good friends. And yeah. And the people that used to take pictures, there was a girl named Janie Gomez, photographer, Liliana Martinez, and these were just great. I mean, they had like, they captured some of those shows and some of those memories. I have great photos from stage, and people are like, dude, where'd you get that photo? I said, man, Janie and Liliana. Actually, Janie was more of our photographer, but man, it was just, you know, the lights were incredible. You know, the Rolling Gloria had a, I mean, these were like, I mean, it was just great, man. The cameo in the Via Fontana, I look back with very, very fond memories, man. So.
Awesome. Well, we're looking back with fond memories. We're also looking forward to the show. Again, it's Saturday, December 18th. Cyrus is going to be there. Igniter is going to be there. Lots of other good bands. Ragnar's on the compound, San Marcos, Texas, doors at 7. We'll be sure to post the ticket link in the YouTube here.
Cool. Yes.
And one thing that one of my take homes from this is you guys practiced your asses off, and then opportunities came, and whenever they came, you were ready. So all you local musicians and Texas musicians out there, remember to keep the music first. It's not all about partying and hanging out.
Right on.
Work on your craft, and you never know who's going to pick up your cassette tape. So Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, man. It's really
thank you, Travis. I really appreciate it, man.
Folks, we will leave you with this Cyrus track, The Hunt.